So it's quite a wide exit area.
Yep, a wide exit area, lots of loafing room. So again, because we have the two exits down here, we can, cows, if one cow decides to go down the exit and is sort of a bit slower, other cows can pass her. We do have sort gates as well that can draft the cows into the lanes and then into the exit areas, but two lanes for cows to leave on.
So are the two in use all the time, typically?
Typically in use all the time. Some of the times they might bring it down to one lane if they're using footpaths or if they want, but on 99% of the time it's two lanes.
Okay. So what's happening then in the handling area? How many holding pens are there typically?
So there is 3 holding pens with 2 sort gates. Again, it's what we call a tandem sort, so the cows can go, in essence, they can go from the far left to the far right. So you have lane 1 to lane 2 to lane 3 to lane 4.
Yeah.
The handling pens you have, top pen is they have a foot crush and a normal crush. The second pen is a collection, and then the third pen they have is collection again. But off to the side of that, then they have a full set of headlocking yokes, so they can bring cows into the yokes and then move them into the next pen. So the system really is about the cows, if they have to move down through each pen, that if they need a job done, that they can be brought in nice and easily and move down through each pen. Yeah. Lots of gates, lots of manways, very easy to bring large numbers of cows, but also if you need to grab 1 or 2 cows, it's easy to do that also.
Yeah. It's huge flexibility and huge opportunity to work with cows there.
Huge flexibility and opportunity. As I said, whenever we were designing this, I think we got to 16 revisions of that holding facility of what we wanted, and it still might have changed as it was going in, just with what we wanted. I think we've got it pretty close as far as, whenever I asked would there be anything else we would do, there would be nothing that we would add a feature on as such with it.
And I suppose sitting beside the handling areas, the source of water, there's a lot of water being used here. We can see, I suppose it's a big area to clean. And
yeah, so this is the main water that comes in for the whole of the dairy side. So this feeds the drinking troughs and everything. So they're 2 30,000 litre tanks inside here. They do, as you said, control the washing of the parlour, the plate coolers, but also the drinking for the cows as well. It does all that. So everything that you see there is redundancy. Like, there's 2 of everything on this. Obviously if there's no water, that's a massive problem. So 2 of everything with it.
Yeah. So Gary, there's a large handling and drafting area here to support a large number of cows. So maybe I suppose to discuss what are we seeing here, maybe starting with your drafter here in your exit base.
Yeah, so the BouMatic drafting system, it works in free flow, so we never actually stop the cow. There's no gates, taxis gates or anything. Everyone's free flow.
Why?
Just simply because with the amount of cows, you don't have the time to stop and start them. Now, again, one of the big advantages with the BouMatic, as we've talked about with this, is we've been doing this for a long time. We use compressed air for everything, so we just actually missed a cow being drafted there. But basically, you have the system set up with the correct lanes and the correct measurements, and the gates will open and the cows will walk through. You don't need to stop the cow. So, as I said, we're watching cows coming down beside us here literally every few seconds. If you have to stop every cow to decide whether they're going into a drafting pen or not, you'd have a backup onto the parlour. On average, they would normally sort somewhere between 30 cows a milking, something like that, into these pens, roughly about 100. I know they talked about this average of about 100 sorts a day through it. So, to try to stop and start them would be a problem. Yeah. As I said, with the facility, you have a 2-lane for the cows walking out, and then we have our drafting, which is a right. It's a 3-way sort, but you have 2 right lanes rather than left and a right in the centre.
Okay.
As we go into here, you can see you have the first area, which is our primary sort. So normally that would be for problem cows. The second sort, which is the second pen, is generally if you want to lock the cows up for AIing. And then the third pen is then to let the cows go back whenever you finish dealing with them, put them into a separate pen to bring them back to their group. Okay. The area that we're in here is to shed or take off a small number of cows to put them into the foot crush as such, or to check them.
Right, yeah. So here we've, I suppose for the foot crush there, you have a forcing pen here on the right.
Yes. Yeah. So again, with this, whenever we were just designing it just to have maximum flexibility, this system from IAE is such that we can bring the cows right round. You know, it doesn't take up a lot of area, but you can get a lot of cows funneled in to make it work to bring them into the foot crush.
Yeah. And I see you've headlocking barriers then as another means of catching cows.
Yeah, another way of catching cows, as we said, having this second pen for all the AI cows, they could be locking up potentially, you know, upwards till 10 to 30 cows into them, you know, that they can lock them up. They also use it for doing, if they're having to drench them or vaccinations or anything like that. So these handling facilities are used every day of the year for some purpose.
Yeah, yeah. Critical component of a large farm here.
It's as important to be, you know, as I spoke about in the entrance in, cow flow, about getting cows to the rotary and away from the rotary is important, but also the handling facilities to the side of it is equally as important as milking the cow, really, to make sure it's easy for the operators.
Yes. So Gary, just a feature on the handling area here, just the way the concrete is set up. What has happened here?
So it wasn't originally like this. You can kind of see the pattern that was left on the concrete originally. Just felt after the amount of traffic and after a few years we done a much deeper groove basically into it, but you can see it's a cross groove, so they're not big chunks of grooves, they're quite fine, but it gives it a lot of grip under the foot for ourselves, never mind what the cows are walking on. Yeah.
The relevance of water troughs then, a lot of holding pens don't have water troughs, I would say, but these do.
Yeah, it's one of the things as well that if you look at our pre-sort pens, we have water troughs in them. It's quite simply, whenever you're shedding out cows, if you shed them into a pen, obviously they know generally there's something that they're being done in the pens to them that they mightn't like, so you know that's what causes them not to walk straight into the pen. Now, a cow coming off after milking, they're wanting food and they're predominantly wanting water. So if you look down each of the sort pens, we have the water trough at the far side of the pens. The cows will come over there and start to drink pretty much straight away. Yeah. So it's a nice thing for them to get in, to get water after they've been milked, but also for us, for the handling facilities, it just makes it a lot easier taking them away and cow traffic, keeping them away from the gates.
And this extra lane here is allowing you, I suppose this is what basically gets the cows into this first holding pen here.
Exactly, yes.
And they carry on down the
other one can go in
there.
Three. So you have two gates, that's called a tandem sort. Yeah. Two gates, you can either have them walking straight down into the bottom pen or straight into this first pen.
Yeah, and maybe just to walk to the man space below, just show in the corner the location of that here.
Yeah.
Okay. So again, I suppose it's a strategic location there, and you've access.
Yeah, so
left and right. And
yeah, the manways are there. You can see it gated. So again, you know, we have nearly like a pen within a pen. So if we have to bring cows into the headlocking yokes, we can move them from this pen where they're sorted into the next bottom pen. So there's it just leaves it very easy. You can also see as well, we have middle posts in all the gates. So if you do have a large number of cows, you're not trying to, in each pen, you're not trying to push the gate through the cows. You can open up, they're smaller so that you can open them up to get some of the cows through into each pen.
You've again a non-return gate there at the end of the race.
Yeah, just with it, you know, cows are obviously very inquisitive. They want you know, if there wasn't, they would walk back up to the sorting area. So we just non-return gates on most of the exits to just keep them moving down. Yeah. As I said, once they get to this point, the cows aren't under pressure. Like you can see a couple of cows here, they're loafing around. It's all rubber for the cows walking out. So you know, they've got time. You know, as long as the group's not being changed over, you know, they've got time to walk back. They're not under any pressure at all. Free movement for them.
Okay, and I suppose the last point there is your hoof or your footpath basically. Yeah. And the chemical is overhead, which is not something you'd see everywhere either.
No, it was just we wanted, with automatic footbath, we wanted to keep it as far away from the sorting area and the parlour exit as we could, because you know, obviously with a footbath, cows don't like going through them, so they decided to keep it down at the far end. You can see the gate here. Basically, it's not ideal as far as if you're talking about cow flow. You will get a backup with it, but it's far enough away it doesn't cause any problems from the rotary. So that gate can come across and the cows can walk through the footbath. Again, it's automatic, brings in chemical and empties and flushes itself in a routine.
No, very good.